In my younger days, I would have come out here and been pretty upset even after a win. But when you do this for a while, I will just tell you from experience, at least my experience, and some of you have been fans for such a long time. A win is a win. Was tonight's win in most regards as ugly as maybe it could have gotten? No, not completely. But when you have the ball in the red zone 3 times, 2 of those times with very short yardages to go, and you only get 3 points, and the 3 points that you get is at the end, when you fumble the ball on the 1-yard line, when you get too selfish and you try to pull an RPO after you just ran for over 75 fucking yards, and you pull an RPO and it gets intercepted in the end zone, and then you try to run a quarterback sneak on 2nd and goal, then try to go an a power formation, and you try different things from the 1-yard line, and you only generate 3 points, you're lucky you didn't get beat. So, should you take every win in the SEC and say to yourself, listen, man, regardless of what you want to say, it's a win? Yes. For me, I think that I can, and I ask you to, when we look at these games, we have to look at them in 1-game sample sizes. Not only do we have to look at them in 1-game sample sizes, but multiple things can be true at once. I am so excited that you got the win. I am very excited that there were times tonight that you actually found a run game. I was happy on some of the things that you did in the passing game. Hello, Trades Green. Hello, Kyle Parker. Welcome to college football, Caden Durham against South Carolina again. Because, guys, I look at Caden Durham and I say to myself, if you would have told me coming into the game that Caden Durham would have had 15 carries for 70 yards, I would have said, oh, shit. And that's not even the most impressive part. If you would have told me coming into this game that LSU would have ran for 166 yards on 30 carries for 5.5 yards per carry, I would have said, well, holy shit, something got figured out, and you blew them out. But you went 4 for 11 on 3rd down. You had situations where your quarterback made very bad decisions yet again. And quite honestly, guys, the truth of the matter is a fact, not an opinion, a fact. Garrett Nussmeier has 17 interceptions in 11 SEC starts. It's not good enough. And you get to a situation where there's some throws tonight that were elite. Yes. Does Chris Hilton have to catch the post route? Yes. Chris, they're not going to play you if you're not going to catch the football. Bottom line. It is the bottom line. You got to catch it. Some of the throws, like the one along the sideline to Caden Durham, elite. Elite. Some of the stuff that you did to Trades Green, that guy's not hurt. That guy's not hurt. Did he take some shots tonight? Yep. But the decision-making. Guys, at what point do we sit here and ask the honest question, Coach, what are you going to do about the turnovers? Because, guys, I have heard the argument. I have heard the argument of Blake, the O-line stinks. You don't have a run game. Well, guys, you had a run game tonight. You ran the ball for 166 yards, which was the most that you've had all season, and you still threw multiple interceptions. Was it great? Hell no. But if I would have told you on Thursday that you would run the ball for 5.5 yards per carry and you would get over north of 150 against a team coming in that was top 30 in run defense, guys, to be real with you, you'd be like, yeah, we about to blow their ass out, because that's how bad it had been. It's how bad it had been. The truth of the matter is, multiple things are true at once. Are there great plays that LSU has got to make offensively? I point out the Chris Hilton post route. Guys, he's got to catch it. I've been a defender of him because he has the ability to get behind defenses. But if you can't catch it, you're not going to play. And that is just a bottom line fact. Great. Guys, you went to Barrion Brown pushing the ball down the field for what it's worth. You went down the field to him, none tonight. You threw the ball at him once tonight. Now, it's not necessarily that you need it, because Trey'Dez Green and Kyle Parker had massive games. Sounds good. But it gets to a point in time where you look at all of the good, and quite honestly, guys, not just from the quarterback play itself, but the turnovers and the offense in general, the good is not outweighing the bad. The bad is outweighing the good. Did you do a lot of really good things tonight that you can build off of? Yes. You did a lot of things tonight you can build off of. You have some playmakers. Get them the football. But if you keep turning the ball over in the red zone 3 times, let's not act, by the way, oh, Blake, they were good in the red zone the last couple. Guys, the red zone has always been an issue for Joe Sloan in this offense. It hadn't been the last couple of games. Okay, sounds good. You finally figured something out there. It has historically, over the last 19 games, been bad. So, we are going to break this game down tonight. We're going to talk about every single detail about this game tonight. And quite frankly, there are going to be hard conversations that you and I must have. Call me whatever you want, because this was about the time a year ago where the beating that I took from people listening to this show about Garrett and the turnovers in the offense became ungodly. You can't have 17 interceptions and 11 SEC starts. That is a bottom line fact. You got no push on a QB sneak and you fumbled the football. You almost turned the ball over again at the 1-yard line. Sorry, guys, but Band-Aids have got to be ripped off here about what we're seeing. Nevertheless, we're live. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all of those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Hit the like and share. We're coming up on 12,000 subs. Do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Every AYS post-game show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. No, I did not hit my 20-leg parlay today for $1. I lost Oregon and I lost Michigan. But 17 out of 13 is not bad. But $1 over at FanDuel could have gotten me $1,200 today. Love our partners over at FanDuel. If you have the discretionary income, go over to FanDuel today. Download the FD Sportsbook app today. Sign up and go place those bets. Go have some fun. Play those parlays. Go and bet on whatever you want. College football, NFL, hockey. I don't give a shit what you bet on. But go over to FD Sportsbook today and download that app. We're greatly appreciative of FanDuel to be a sponsor of AYS Sports this football season. So do us a favor and download the app today. Do us a favor and hit the like and share. We greatly appreciate all of you being here. There's a couple ways you can get involved in the show. Some of you have already sent in super chats. We'll get to those more at the end of the show. Or you can do like what Matthew did. You can become a member of the YouTube channel. Matthew, thank you so much. We greatly, greatly appreciate you becoming a member of the YouTube channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But you can send in super chats. We'll read all of them at the end after we do the breakdown here. We'll take some live phone calls here at the end. It's not late enough. So I think we're going to take some phone calls tonight, unless I go 3 hours before we get to it. But we're going to try to get to the phone calls here tonight. And if we don't, we'll do it like we do on always and do it on Mondays, and we'll always make it up to you. But we're going to try to get to them tonight because I think people need to vent a little bit here. All right, let's get moving here. Every show is brought to you by our good friends over at the Sportsbook FanDuel. Go over there today and download the app. Place all of those bets. We greatly appreciate it. All right, let's move into it here. First play of the game, LSU went under center and gave the ball off to Caden Durham, and Dylan Stewart blew it up. I don't mind LSU coming out tonight and trying something different. You went under center, you went 12 personnel, you try to give the ball off, and Weston Davis got abused by what probably is the best edge rush guy, maybe best edge guy in all of college football. Why on the first play did you run it right at him? You went 12 personnel and you ran it right at him. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't you move the 12 personnel to the left and run it the other way? Why are you running it right at their best player? Makes zero sense. Now, do I think that Caden Durham had some misses tonight? Yes. Do I think the first play was a miss? Yes. Did he have a cutback lane? Yes. Regardless of all of that, it doesn't matter. You ran it right at him. Weston Davis whiffed, and it's a tackle for loss to start the game off. Johnson in a diamond formation. Diamond right goes for a screen, but you had offsides on South Carolina, and LSU would take the penalty, so they would remain on second down. Harlan Berry on a dive goes for 3 yards, forcing 3rd and 5 here. And Nuss in the pocket, trying to go over the middle, jumps and gets the ball batted down at the line of scrimmage. Tell me if you have heard this before. LSU offensively, to start off a game, went basically 3 and out. You had an entire bye week. You had your first 3rd and 5, and you weren't ready to go, and your quarterback was sitting in the pocket, not firing to start the game off, and the ball got batted away. You know, when I think of a team coming off of a bye week, and I know Garrett didn't practice for 1 week of it, but you have 2 weeks to prepare. 2 weeks. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, on the first 3rd down of the game, I would assume that, like, you would know where you're wanting to go. Like, I would just assume that. Well, Blake, what's the coverage? I get that. But I would assume you have a pretty damn good idea of where you want to go. Like, hey, this is the scripted plays. And your quarterback is jumping literally in the pocket, and the ball gets batted down. What are we doing? So to start off the game, we thought that it would be smart to run at the best defensive end in all of the SEC. That's what we thought. Hey, let's run it right at Dylan Stewart. That makes a lot of sense. I don't really mind the screen to Juwan Johnson if it keeps working and you got the numbers. And you take a penalty because they're offsides. Sounds good. I don't mind a Harlan Berry run for 3 that sets you up for 3rd and 5. I don't. Great and elite coordinators make their hay on 3rd down. They make their hay on 3rd down. Now, whether Joe has scripted the last couple of weeks for Garrett of what they're going to do on their first 3rd down of a scripted drive, I have no clue. I would assume so. But he had no idea where to go with the football, and he jumped in the pocket. Take the sack, fall down. Don't make a play worse than what it should be. Guys, that's a bad because it's not a turnover, it's not considered a bad decision. I don't want my quarterback who is coming off of a torso injury, allegedly coming off of a torso injury. I really don't want him sitting in the pocket and jumping to try to throw a football to see. Listen, man, if you got to do that, it's early in the game. It's the first series. Just take the sack or run. I got a better idea. Try and run for a first down. You're 5 yards away. You can't get there. Sounds good. We'll punt the ball away. But just because you're overly pressing because of all the outside noise and you're hearing all the outside noise doesn't mean you make bad decisions. Newsflash, we're going to talk about a lot of bad decisions tonight too. First possession for the defense was a really good one. As the defense on the first play for South Carolina, a fumble would occur and Patrick Payton would recover the football. So you punt the ball away. That's what I'm saying. So, like, even back to the Nuss jump thing, dude, your defense literally forced a turnover on the first play and got the football in the red zone after a massive punt by Grant Chadwick, which I'm going to continue to say this. Grant Chadwick is the best portal addition that we don't talk about because he had 2 55-yard plus punts tonight. 2. That being one of them. But the first play for your defense is a forced fumble, botched handoff, whatever you want to say. But regardless, Patrick Payton recovers it and gives the ball back for your offense. Wildcat formation with Juwan Johnson, Malachi Lane, the walk-on running back, is next to him. Why in the good world? Maybe I know the idea because you don't want Caden Durham blocking, and Malachi Lane, the walk-on running back, will be the one that actually puts his head down and tries to hit somebody. Maybe. I don't know. But you go from a Wildcat that we would not see the rest of the night, and it goes on a dive to Juwan Johnson for 6 yards. Dandy. Sounds good. I will take a 6-yard run on every first down from here on out. Great play. Good job by Juwan Johnson. Johnson would get a dive or inside zone run on second down and goes for no gain. That forces a 3rd and 3. Quick slant on a 3rd and 3 in the red zone by Tradaz Green is behind, or a quick slant out, whatever option route really. You can even make the argument that Garrett thought that Tradaz was going to sit on the route. Regardless, I think the right route was to him for Tradaz to run the out route on the 2nd, 3rd down in the game because nobody's there. I mean, to me, before going back and looking at it again, just on the first overall look that I had, looked like that Garrett should have thrown the out route and he threw it more inside. Guys, when you miss a week, with all due respect, you're going to miss timing. Tradaz and Garrett have both been hurt. I can let slide timing and decision-making being off on 2 guys that have been hurt, in and out of the lineup, whatever. But Garrett has got to hit Tradaz Green there. You can take the extra half second because people are playing off of you and they're playing off of Tradaz Green. Take the extra half second, see what he's going to do because you have enough time to throw the football and get it to him. You're preconceiving what he's doing when you had time not to. That would be my thing there. But your second offensive possession, you would line up for a field goal and make it with Damian Ramos. You go up 3-0. So you have a scoring drive that generated nothing, 4 plays, 7 yards, and offensively you start off after a bye week like complete hot manure. Complete and hot manure. You guys, I don't think that you could spend Raising Cane's billionaire level money to go buy an opening touchdown. I really don't. Especially a first quarter touchdown. I just don't think you can do it. Guys, this is pathetic. I mean, it is pathetic. You have 2 times to get points. One of them, you're in your own red zone. And because of mistiming and stupid decisions, you just, I don't know. It is what it is there. Second possession for the defense. So you get the field goal, you kick it off. And the first play is Terrell Perkins tackling the running back Faison in the backfield for a tackle for loss for -4 yards. I thought Perk played fine tonight. Definitely started off really good on that one. Sellers on a QB sweep goes left, goes for 10 yards. Faison screen. LSU sent a blitz on 3rd and 8, and the screen goes for 10. Guys, we're gonna have to live with these screens, right? Like, listen, first third down of the game for Lenore Sellers. You bring pressure on him. Shula knows you're bringing pressure, so he calls the screen. Yeah. Yeah. You know, like, okay, cool. It is what it is there. Cheese and Pete. Let's see. Brandon just told me. Brandon, are we better on our end? No? Okay. Guys, stand by for just a second. Stand by. You would have thought after a couple of weeks that things would have gotten cleared up, but hopefully we're back. Just trying to clear up some of the fuzz here. All right. Yeah, we were fuzzy. I don't know. It just sometimes it does that. I have no clue as to why, but it does. It is what it is. We're just going to have to deal with it. But Sellers goes on a sweep for 6. Faison on a screen goes for 10. You're going to have to live with some of these screens, man. You're going to have to live with some of these screens. When you're this aggressive as a team, when you're this aggressive as a defense, and you're going to send the amount of pressure that you want to send, you're going to have to live with it. And you're going to just have to live with teams are going to hit some on you, but I don't stop the pressure because of it. It's a great play call by Shula. It's chestnut checkers. He got you on that one. Sounds good. But it is what it is. RPO with a tight end in the flat. Hunt goes for 11. You should have known that they were going to run that early in the game. They like running this RPO zone read with a tight end in the flat. They are elite at it, and they get 11 on you on that one. Jacobs on a hitch goes for 16. So their first drive and Shula's first drive, along with Sellers, or second drive, starts getting moving here. Sellers with a run right up the middle and a power goes for 2 yards. Whit Weeks eludes a blocker and gets Sellers down for 2 yards. Sellers roll out, and he tries to hit a tight end down the sideline, but the tight end would drop the pass and would force a 3rd and 8. So kind of bend, don't break here. Early script. I mean, I know that South Carolina had the ball early. They had the ball and they fumbled, but they're getting their scripted plays out, which isn't bad, and they're moving the ball. But you do force a 3rd and 8 on your side of the football field, and Sellers would run a power right behind center for 2 yards, and you would force a field goal that they would miss. I don't really know what South Carolina was doing most of the night from a play calling aspect, to be real with you. I didn't really understand what Shula did there, like on a 3rd and 8. Maybe you're just trying to tie the game there, settle things down, and get your legs up under you. I understand that. And listen, you have Lenore Sellers, so I do understand that too. But you just had an offensive lineman that got hurt, and you have a new center in the game because of bad snaps. So at what point did you think that maybe not running the ball there early would have given you a different chance? But look, I'm glad they ran the football there on 3rd and 8. They would line up for the field goal, and it would be no good. So I'm definitely glad about that. Look, man, solid drive. Force them to field goals, make them make long field goals, and if they can't, great. You did your job there. So 2 really good series by the defense. You force a field goal that goes for no good, And then you have the forced fumble here. Third possession offensively. A screen to Bauer Sharp goes for 11. Really good play there. Durham on a zone run goes for 2. And then it felt like one of the better plays of Garrett Nussmeier on the night. He drops back on second down and scrambles up the middle for 2 yards. It was a play early in the game where they reviewed it, and they ruled him that he was short. That would force a 3rd down and 1. Guys, we talked about this on Thursday. I felt like teams, in our keys to victory on Thursday, let me backtrack. On our keys to victory on Thursday, we talked about on the show, listen, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. It doesn't matter. South Carolina has been very bad in pass rush. Teams have been very bad in pass rush stuff against LSU the last 2 years. They do not try to keep contained at all. They get out of their lanes. They're trying to get to Garrett because they don't think that he's going to run, which leads to a lot of situations where Garrett can step up in the pocket and run. He gets skinny, step-ups, runs, goes for 7, forces a 3rd and 1. He needs to do – I know he did enough of it tonight, got a long run tonight. He's got to do more of it until teams stop. To take some of the heat off of the pass rush, he's got to just do it more. He's not going to do it more than what he did tonight, but look what happens when he does. Look what happens. And when you don't have a run game, those kinds of things help. They help drastically. Drastically, they help. So, really good run by Garrett. Really good play to step up in the pocket and go get 7 yards that forces the 3rd and 1. You come out of a power I or full house, whatever you want to call it. Caden Durham on 3rd and 1 goes for 1. Both plays, the Durham and Nuss runs were reviewed, and both were given in LSU's favor. Parker on an out route goes for 9 on 1st down. Durham on a run for 2. Barry in the flat for 2. Then Parker on a hitch for 10. I thought they did a really good job at just managing the game in the 3rd drive of things. You're not taking shots. They're playing off of you a little. They're giving you 9 yards. They're giving you 3 yards. They're giving you 7 yards. They're giving you 9 yards. And you're methodically moving the ball down the field. But every single time that I feel like that you start kind of getting some things going, it's one mistake that ends all drives for you. And the mistake can be an incompletion, right? Like even just an incompletion, and things start trending downward where they're like, you can't even overcome an incompletion. Like you have to be perfect or you're not going to score. And I'm not saying that for like Garrett's got to be perfect, but even from the run game's perspective, if you miss one block, oh, well, you can't do it again. And we definitely can't call it again because we can't run the football. Just insanity to me. But after you got a 9 and 2 yards both times by running backs, whether it be burying the flat or run by Durham, you take a shot to Nick Anderson. I don't mind it. You're setting it up. Look, Joe Sloan gets a lot of criticism, and I don't blame some of the criticism, okay? But I thought that, listen, hey, 9 yards, 2 yards, 2 yards, 9 yards. Sounds good or 10 yards. Sounds good to me. That's how you methodically move the sticks and get into the red zone. I don't think that anything that he did there was bad. I thought he set his quarterback up well. He gave him a shot. South Carolina walks down. Hey, man, if you're going to take everything underneath, we're going to walk down. Then you have a shot. It just wouldn't have been to Nick Anderson. Wouldn't have been to Nick Anderson. That's me personally. Like, Chris can't catch the ball, okay? You're not going to throw it to him. You didn't go to Xavier tonight. You didn't go to Barryon tonight. Now, you went to Xavier on this drive literally on the next play, but you get what I'm saying. I feel like you're trying to get other guys involved that really hasn't made plays, Chris Hilton included. Now, at least Chris is drawing some PIs that maybe you can justify it. Hell, go to Trade S for all I care. He definitely showed tonight he could do it. But just you're doing a good job, and then you get in the red zone, and this everything starts crumbling. 3rd and 9, Trey Green on an in route makes a ridiculous catch for 14. Xavion on a quick screen goes for 5, sets up 2nd and goal from the 1. Then Juwan Johnson would fumble at the 1-yard line. Guys, I want to come out here and say, like, Juwan can't do that. Yes, he can't. I mean, that's god-awful. You cannot. You cannot fumble the football, regardless. Especially there, you can't. I don't know what to really make of Juwan Johnson. Like, do I think he's got some really good runs and had some really good runs and some productive runs this season? Hell yes, he had one tonight. The problem is, guys, is that halfway through camp is when you moved him to running back because JT Lindsey got arrested and got kicked off the team. Trey Holly's not back. You didn't go get a portal running back. And so you're having to move a guy that ultimately got moved to quarterback from the defense back to running back, which he played last year. It's no excuse to fumble. If there is anybody that has an excuse, I feel like it would be him. But even him, he was in the running back room all year last year. Holding on to the football is a big deal. I know that you're trying to, and what he was trying to do was extend the football to get to the end zone. I get it. But you got a whole nother down there that you got to play with. That is a backbreaker. Guys, you go up 10-0 there. You still have yet this season to get over 20 points scoring on a Power 4 opponent. These are the reasons why. Like, I can, for what it's worth, I can live with the Clemson one because I don't look at Clemson that way for me. I look at Clemson in the situation of I'm giving Barryon Brown that touchdown, right? Like, I'm giving that to Barryon. But in reality, you didn't. Like, you still haven't gotten over 20 points over a P4 opponent, and that's just not going to fly. It's because of situations like that. You can't fumble the football. Now, I want to say this before we continue to move on, because I'm going to say, you're going to say, or some of you are going to say, well, he's being picky for one guy and not the other. Guys, I don't give two flying Rudy Poos. I don't care how they happen. Turnovers cannot take place. Teams that win the turnover battle normally win. Tonight, you didn't. You didn't. You didn't win the turnover battle. And you got lucky that your defense is that freaking good. But Juwan fumbled against Florida. He fumbled against South Carolina. Can't happen. It just cannot happen. Because it would be one thing. It would be one thing. Let's just say, hypothetically, you don't even score a touchdown there. Would it be maddening? Yes. It would be utterly maddening. But you're at least taking 3 points off of the board. And maybe you would have gone for it on 4th down to try to get it in. There's so many different things you could say for there and say for that. You can't fumble the football. You're going to go up against teams next week, Vandy, Texas A&M, Alabama. You do that shit against them, you will not win. The way the offense and the turnovers continue to happen, this one included with Juwan Johnson, you do that shit, you're going to lose. It's not a matter of if, guys. It's a matter of when. Like, it's only going to be a matter of when. You do stupid shit like that, and you're going to lose. God, that's a backbreaker, dude. It's a backbreaker. You could have – it would have been a part of you blowing this team out tonight. You should have blown them out. That's the thing that pisses me off the most. You should have blown them out. It should have been 31, 34 to 10. You should have rocked their socks off. You should have rocked their socks off like somebody on their bachelor party. Not bachelor party, honeymoon. You should have knocked somebody's socks off. Can't happen. And complete momentum would get shifted here. South Carolina would get the ball back, and they would hit a wide receiver in the flat row, the true freshman for 7. Faison would go on a dive for 1. And then on 3rd and 2, Fuller would run for 72 yards and a touchdown. What a shift in momentum. Now, this is the worst play that you had on all night defensively. The worst. You got out of gap. Tamarcus Cooley can't make a play. You can't get the ball carrier down. Mansour Delane can't run him down. Guys up front got pushed around a little bit, and they hit a seam. And the team that was dead last in the SEC in rushing ran for a 72-yard score, which, by the way, newsflash, it's going to be very close, but there might be a team in the SEC that's dead last in rushing, and it still might be you after tonight because they ran for 190. The 72-yard run, though, man, you got out of gap. You got out of assignment. This team does not do it that often. And, I mean, like, what do you want me to say? Tamarcus Cooley's got to bring the ball carrier down. Defensive line, linebackers have got to play better there. They sent a motion. Perkins got misaligned. He didn't know where to go. He got jammed up in traffic, and it bit him in the ass. It bit him in the ass. So, bad play. They hit the longest play of their season on you tonight. It's an easy, very easy pill to swallow because it'd be the only touchdown you give up all night. And I feel like for me, I'm just in a situation where like all of that's good. All of that is good. In the sense of if you are only going to give up one touchdown in a game, guys, I don't know if I can sit here and harp on giving a 72-yard run for a touchdown. You have just come such a long way, and in coming such a long way, okay, like that's how I view it. Does it suck because you had the ball at the 1 yard line and you fumbled? You should be up 10-0, and then you give up a 72-yard run for a score, and now they lead 7-3. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. But you forced a 3 and out. You got a fumble recovery, and they hit a big play on you. Okay, well, is what it is there. It is what it is. I'm not going to harp on it. Guys got out of line. They got pushed around a little bit, and Tamarcus has got to make that tackle. Oh, well. There are going to be other teams that hit stuff on you like that, and it's unfortunate, but it's going to happen. That's why you saw a little bit more of Walter Mathis tonight, the freshman, who's kind of coming out of nowhere a little bit. And I got to be real with you, 96 better pick it up because 90 and 88 are taking a lot of those snaps. And now they're putting in 91 and Walter Mathis. 96 better get with it. Barry, no gain. So 4 possession offensively. Barry, no gain. Within the first quarter, you're down 7-3. Parker on a quick slant goes for 9, forcing a 3rd and 1. Durham on a dive gets hit in the backfield, breaks the tackle, and goes for 5 yards and gets a first down. Really good play. Guys, running backs have got to break tackles in the backfield. Bottom line. Very next play, same exact play from the opposite side. Caden Durham cuts one back, goes for 23 after breaking a tackle after 4 yards, and goes for 23. So 2 carries, 28 yards. Really, really, really good stuff there on the ground. Let me pause right there. This is what a good run game does. And it's been too long that we have seen one. a remote reality of one. 2 carries, 28 yards. Well, to be real with you, that's basically what you had in the first half versus Ole Miss 2 weeks ago. Newsflash. Good for Caden Durham. Good to have him back. Breaks a couple of tackles, gets through some of the traffic, and goes for 28 yards on 2 carries. Fade route to Chris Hilton for a pass interference, and you get a first down. Massive, massive stuff there. Chris is going to draw him. He's got to catch. So I don't think he's going to play a lot, maybe in some spot stuff of what you want to do. Get a fade route out there. Other than that, until he starts catching the football, he's just not going to play. It's on him. It's on him. But he keeps drawing them, so it keeps giving you first downs. I'm not going to hate it, but he's got to start catching the football. I mean, right there, when you're getting tackled and you draw a PI, I'm never going to blame anybody for missing something when the flag gets thrown on you. Why would I? But he does draw it. Trey'Dez Green in the slot on a quick slant goes for 15 yards in a first down. On the very next play, you would go diamond right, fade left to Trey'Dez Green. He comes down with it for a score. Get your playmakers the football. Really good job there by Joe Sloan. Quick stuff and just getting your playmakers the ball. Thursday on Keys to Victory, run slants and quick hitches if teams play off of you. Newsflash. What did all of your scores come on tonight? A slant from Kyle Parker and a fade route to Trey'Dez Green. When you take the decision-making away from Garrett, good shit starts happening. Really good play calling there by Joe Sloan, and you get a score. You go up 10-7 there. You go up 10-7 and retake the lead, and you wouldn't give it back the entire night. Look, you had an answer. You had to go get an answer, and you found one. Beautiful stuff there from Sloan. And really and truthfully, that drive is set up because Caden Durham busts 2 long ones for you. Or busts a long one for you on a run. Breaking tackles in the backfield, man. So you get a 3rd and 1, you get a run, you get a first down, then a long run. Sets up all of it. Really beautiful stuff. They walk down again. You take a shot to Nick Anderson. You take a shot to Chris Hilton. One's incomplete. The other draws a PI. They walk down. And, guys, to be honest with you, I thought it was good stuff by Sloan. So let's understand this. You're methodically moving the ball down the field on the drive where Juwan Johnson fumbled. They back off. You throw something downfield. Sounds good. That's great play calling. Same thing here. You get a couple of runs. They walk some guys down in the box. You get a 23-yard run. Hey, man, we can't allow that. They start walking down. You get a shot to Chris Hilton. He gets a PI. Oh, well, shit, we can't do that either. All right, you're going to back off. Quick slant to Trey'Dez Green. We get down the red zone, and nobody's a better athlete than him. He is the best athlete on this team. I said that to Carter during the offseason. To me, I felt like, and there's a lot of record of this, to me, when I look at Trey'Dez Green, and tonight he finally had that night, Trey'Dez Green has the athletic ability that when it's all said and done for him, he's got a gold jacket. And I don't like saying that level of shit, but he's that freakish of an athlete. He's that good of an athlete. When you get your playmaker who's 6'7" and can run like a receiver, the ball in space, and he's a freak athlete, yeah, get him the football. Was hurt, and it hurt you. But really good stuff. And, guys, I thought that was 2 really good drives called by Joe Sloan. That probably is not going to get a lot of favoritism from me, but it is. Hey, you walk up, sounds good. We'll take a shot. You want to back off? Sounds good. Here comes a 6'7", 245-pound freak of nature that you can't do shit with. Oh, you want to walk a safety over him? He's going to out-physical him. You want to put a corner on him? He's going to out-physical him. Please, dear God, put a linebacker on him, and he will outrun them. Newsflash, he's a mismatch for everybody on the field. And it's a really good, two really good drives by Joe Sloan. It's gonna get overlooked, but it was. Sloan wasn't really your problem tonight, guys, if I got to be honest with you. Bad decision-making and playmaking by the guys on the field, quite frankly. Well, I'm just not, we can have that discussion, but I thought he called a decent 2 drives there. Can't turn the ball over and then you score. 4th possession defensively. Faison on a zone read goes for 2. Sellers gets flushed. And it's a PI on Tamarcus Cooley. They run an in route. He gets flushed right. Tamarcus Cooley hits the receiver before the ball technically passes, and he gets a PI. Tamarcus didn't have a great night on some of these situations. He would make up for it on the interception. Rowe on a reverse goes for 9 yards, and then Faison on a dive would go for 3. Setting up first down on South Carolina's side of the field, Sellers would get scrambled. He would go for 1 yard. Walter Mathis would make the tackle. Jack Pyburn, Patrick Payton, and Harold Perkins had an attempt at Lenore Sellers and could not bring him down, but the true freshman defensive tackle and Walter Mathis, with the effort that he displayed, gets him down and for only 1. A lot of hustle by your defensive tackle. Last year I felt like in a lot of situations that, man, there wasn't a defensive tackle on our roster that would show that level of hustle to bring down Lenore Sellers. The big fella who's getting a lot of reps here is Walter Mathis. As things continue to progress and the season continues to progress, Walter Mathis is getting reps here. Massive play there by Walter Mathis. Massive play by the true freshman. Maybe Bo Davis did know what he was doing after all. What do I know? What do I know? When people, I'm going to leave that one on. Well, does too. I'm just saying. Really good play there by Walter Mathis to get Sellers down. South Carolina on a false start twice. Death Valley got to South Carolina. Guys, South Carolina is one of the worst penalized teams in the country. We talked about this on Thursday. They're going to get if you let them stay on the field, they'll shoot themselves in the foot, and they did it all night. Absolutely garbage. Harbor goes on an in route. It falls incomplete, which forces a 3rd and 18. Sellers gets flushed by Jack Pyburn and Patrick Payton, and he gets out of bounds for 1 yard, and they would punt the football. So they push them own selves back. They got to kick a field goal here. And, they got a punt here. And because of their penalties, they don't have a chance to get points. 5th possession offensively, Barrion Brown goes for a hitch on 11. His 1 of 2 catches on the night. Maybe you need to go back to one of the fastest receivers you have. Durham on back-to-back runs goes for a total of 3 yards. Then it would force a 3rd and 7. So Durham had zone runs, 1 for 2 yards, 1 for 1 yard. And on 3rd and 7, you have a hitch route that Nuss is short on to Tradez Green, and he gets hit, and he gets up, and he starts limping. Anytime Garrett gets hit, man, he's gonna do the whole, I don't even know what to say about that drive. I mean, you just got off the field. You get a first down. You have a couple of runs. It's 3rd and 7. Who is that really on, man? I mean, 3rd and 7, your quarterback gets hit. He limps off. I mean, he's under pressure. Just got to live to fight another day. Got to live to fight another day. 5th possession for the defense. Sellers on a quarterback sweep. Left goes for no gain. He gets flushed on the next play, hits Rowe, the freshman, in the flat, goes for 11. Harold Perkins runs him down from the opposite side of the field. after getting it wasn't for 11. I can't even read my writing. He goes for 8, which would force a 3rd and 1, and face on, we get a dive for 4 yards and a first down. 5 wide, Brown goes on a veer run for 12, and another first down by South Carolina. They're running the ball on you a little bit here. But as they did last series, and they would do again, they would get a false start on the same player, and pretty much their drive starts stalling there. Sellers drops back to pass. Jacoby and Guillory rushes him. He's got to throw the ball away here. Hitch for Broom falls incomplete, which would force a 3rd and 15. And Sellers would throw a fade route to Nick Harbor that gets picked off by Tamarcus Cooley. Look, Tamarcus had 2 really tough plays. He had the PI, and he missed Fuller on the long run. But he's playing free high, and he reads the quarterback's eyes beautifully. And on the fade route, he makes a beautiful play and picks the ball off for yet another turnover for LSU. Listen, I'll say this. I don't think any position room has made a more massive leap than the safety room. Does Cooley have to make that play? Yes. Do I think that the PI was a little ticky-tacky? Because to be honest with you, I did think the PI was a little ticky-tacky. However, look, man, you got to shake some plays off. You had 2 bad plays early. Okay, last year our safeties would have ran away from Lenore Sellers, and they would have ran the opposite side of the field instead of where he actually threw the football. So at least it's a progression of actually running to where you need to go and covering the side of the field you need to cover and playing free high and picking the ball off. When's the last time we've had that level of shit under BK the last 3 years, really? I mean, maybe you could say Jay Ward and that 2022 team, yeah, they did it. The 2 years after that, our safety room was hot garbage. It's like a woman going through menopause. Hot flashes were everywhere. Hot garbage. Really good play by Tamarcus Cooley. I think the South Carolina wide receiver room is cheeks, but regardless of that, he makes a really good play. He just raised Lenore Sellers the whole time, and Sellers made a bad decision, a very bad decision, and he got picked off. I guess you technically could kind of counter that as maybe a punt in some regards, because you do get the ball on around the 15-yard line where the interception happened. So I guess so. But really bad decision by Lenore Sellers, and gets picked by Tamarcus Cooley, made a beautiful read. Green, 6th possession for your offense. Green on a hitch goes for 8. He breaks a couple of tackles after a 4-yard catch, and then burrows his way for 8 yards. Durham on a dive run goes for 9. Guys, you're 2 series offensively. You got 28 yards. Then Durham has 2 carries. He's got 3 yards. Then you get a run here for 9. I mean, it's consistently good. You just keep going away from it. Stinks. Next play is a post route to Chris Hilton that gets dropped. Can't get dropped. Look, I think Chris Hilton has the ability. Let's get to this. I think Chris Hilton has the ability to do some special things. He can't catch the football right now. And they're not going to play him if he doesn't catch the football. It is aggravating. You have all the ability in the world. You came on at the end of last year. You made some big catches, and we needed you to make those big catches. You had a vertical threat, and you had it there tonight. You beat 2 defenders. You get hit in stride. You go for 6, but it's a hell of a throw by Garrett, and kind of showed tonight that Garrett was fine. Garrett made a hell of a throw. That is a hell of a throw, and Chris has got to come down with it. It also tells you a couple things. Number one, hey, your quarterback ain't hurt no more. So I don't really want to hear excuses about him being hurt. You can uncork that one and play like you did tonight. You ain't hurt. Sorry, you're not hurt. He's not hurt. Tonight, he was not hurt. And I know people are going to want to say that he's, moving forward. Oh, he has a bad game. Oh, he was hurt. Maybe still. Guys, he uncorked it. Chris has got to catch it. Whether it be injuries that has played Chris Hilton or drops, they're not going to play you if you drop the football. Now, you can make the argument, well, listen, he dropped the pass. Literally, we've seen great and elite players have dropped passes. But they're giving the leash on Chris Hilton is so thin that Cortez is not going to put him back out there. And Cortez got his ass chewed tonight a couple of times by Brian Kelly for the idiotic rotations that he has sometimes. And I will go source to source with anybody. Cortez is rotating these dudes in and out. That is his responsibility. He rotates in Chris and makes a good decision here. You run a post, he beats two guys, Nuss throws a dime, and you miss it. Buddy, you're just not going to play. I love him to death. I love Chris Hilton to death. But they're not. They've already showed you that the leash is very small. Very small. And you got to make plays like that in crucial games. If you don't make those kinds of plays versus Alabama, you don't make those plays. And listen, Oklahoma got beat today. Go into Norman and don't make those plays. You don't make those level of plays next week, you're just not going to play. You don't make those plays versus A&M, you ain't going to play. Got to make it, man. Got to make it. I've seen a lot of people, for what it's worth, and I saw this on social media, saying, well, we would have scored a touchdown if Chris makes that catch. Well, guys, on the very next play, Caden Durham on an absolutely disgusting, not bad verb, on an absolutely placed dime by Garrett Nussmeier, you get a catch along the sidelines that goes for 17 yards. So does the post suck? Yes. Does he need to catch it? Yes. The very next play, you hit one for 17. You got to flush it. There's no excuses after you hit a long play like that. You got to flush the post route. What could have, should have been, and Chris has got to catch it. We all know that. But very next play, Nuss gets flushed right and makes an absolutely ridiculous throw, and Caden Durham comes down with it for 17 yards. So a really bad play, but then you come back and you make a really good one. It didn't lose you the drive. That is for damn sure. Caden Durham on a run goes for 3. Thomas on an out route is missed. The ball's thrown out of bounds to Xavier Thomas on an out route that forces a 3rd and 7. On the 3rd and 7, Trey'Dez Green would jump off sides and have a false start and would force a 3rd and 12. You can't. Oh. Here we go. All right. Let me take a sip of water before I get to this. You just threw a pass out of bounds. You just had 2 outright dimes. Then the next pass that you have is a throw out of bounds to Xavier Thomas. All right, you missed one. Who gives a shit? You have a run in there for Caden Durham for 3 yards. All right, well, 3rd and 7. 3rd and 7 is not necessarily easy to convert, but you have a false start by Trey'Dez Green that pushes you back to 3rd and 12. All right, very non-ideal. You're shooting yourselves in the foot. But the very next play to end the 6th possession offensively would be an in route by Kyle Parker that gets overthrown and picked off. Oh. It's just, I feel like every time that you're forced to make a play in something that's not ideal on 3rd down, you can't do it. Because the truth is, Garrett gets flushed a little bit left. He gets hit. It doesn't excuse the overthrow, and it doesn't excuse the decision-making. It doesn't excuse that when you throw the ball and you overthrow the ball over the middle of the field, it's going to get picked. I'm not going to lose my mind on this one. I'm not going to. But it's just the turnovers and interceptions just haven't been fixed. Florida, you threw a pick. Ole Miss, you threw a pick. And tonight you threw two. So against the last three Power 4 opponents, guys, you have one from Florida, one from Ole Miss, and two tonight. You have 4 interceptions in the last 3 games. That isn't good. It's just not good, man. I can live with the physical limitations that any human being has. It's not a limitation. It's not a torso, guys. I'm sorry to say this. He did not play like a guy tonight. They didn't call the game tonight like someone that was hurt. And quite honestly, who cares? If he's playing, then he's got to make those level of plays. He turns the ball over way too much. You know, early in my career, I thought that there was no way that I was going to take the beating being in media the way that I took a beating and talking about Miles Brennan, Jane Daniels, Garrett Nussmeier. It was astronomically insane. Last year was worse when I would be the one who constantly came out here and said the turnovers have got to stop. Got to stop. The interceptions have got to stop, and took a beating. He doesn't have an O-line. He doesn't have a run game. Well, guys, he might have not had a great O-line tonight because he didn't, but you can't make those level of throws. You're doing too much. You have 17 interceptions in 11 SEC starts. That is horrible. Quite honestly, that is horrible. I don't know of many other coaches that quite honestly would allow that to happen. The thing that I said earlier that I'm going to circle back to in a little while when we get to the RPO that got picked, because I am going to lose my mind on that one. It cannot continue to happen. Last year, you had 9 interceptions in the month of October. 9. Now, you're not – shit. I don't think you're going to get to 9. But good Lord. 17-11 SEC starts is horrible. The sad thing is it doesn't outweigh the good throws that he made. The one to Chris and the one to Durham. One of them you don't hit, one of them you do hit, and then you turn the ball over. Guys, I don't even like the turnovers that from a bakery. I'm sure as shit not going to like them on the football field. I think they kill you. If there is one pet peeve of mine, it's turnovers. I can't stand them. Or offense is going to have them? Yes. But your number one goal Your number one goal as an offense is to not turn the ball over. It's the number one goal. You can say, well, Blake, the number one goal is to score. No, the number one goal is to not make bad decisions and not to be off platform to make a throw over the middle of the field that's overthrown and gets picked. Bottom line. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. But it is what it is there. 6 possession offensively. Sellers on a draw would go for 9 yards. Attaway on a dive run goes for 2 and a first down. Hunt, the tight end, on an out route goes for 5 yards. It would be followed by a South Carolina false start. Rowe on a slant dropped. Cooley gets called for a hold. 3 really bad situations for Tamarcus Cooley, but I'm going to give him, you catch an interception, you get a little leeway on this show. Sellers on another draw goes for 12. An in route by Harbor. Cooley gets a PBU. Then Bennett on a slant. Cooley's in coverage and knocks it away. So he gets a holding but makes up with it with the interception from earlier and a PBU times 2 right here before the half. 3rd and 10, Sellers gets flushed, and then you have a whole host of Tigers that would get to him, that would force him out of bounds, and he would throw the ball away right before he gets to the out-of-bounds marker, and you force a punt. On the punt, Xavion Thomas fields the punt and goes for negative 9 yards. Why? I don't mind being aggressive right before the half, but my God, don't go backwards. Killed it. Absolutely killed it here, man. You can't do that. LSU on the 7th possession would go for a 3 and out. They have a Durham run for 3, a Durham run for 4, sets up a 3rd and 2, and then they run a fade route to Trey Green. They don't trust Garrett, I don't think. Well, Blake, a fade would show that they trust him. I don't know. Guys, you can't say you weren't running the ball effectively. You get out of your own end zone. You got a 3-yard run and a 4-yard run. Guys, if you're running the ball for 3 to 4 yards a carry, you're going to get a first down. Why is it that after you just ran the ball for 7 yards on 2 carries, on 3rd and 2 at your own goal line, you wouldn't fucking run the ball again? Your quarterback literally just threw a pick. Why wouldn't you run the ball again? That's the stuff for Sloan there right before the half that should piss you off. You haven't ran the ball effectively since you've been the coordinator, and you just got a 4-yard run by Caden Durham. 2 drives, or the drive before that, he makes a ridiculous catch along the sidelines. The drive before that, he's got a 23-yard run. And in the time before the 23-yard run, he breaks a tackle in the backfield and goes for 5 on a 3rd down. Why wouldn't you run the fucking ball? This is the shit that through a season really starts pissing me off. You're running the ball for 5 fucking yards a carry. And you're backed up in your end zone. And your quarterback just threw a pick. And it almost got picked off again. Take the ball out of his hands when you're lining up and imposing your will. I know that it's been way too long that we understand what it's like to line up and lean on somebody. When you can line up and run that thing for 5 yards a carry and say, come take this shit. There's nothing you can do about it. I don't feel like this is what pisses me off. This is how I feel. I feel like we get too finesse instead of putting our hand in the dirt and saying, I'm going to fuck you up. You want to know the truth? The truth is sometimes you play like a little B word. And I just said the F word like 6 times, so it doesn't really matter. You just ran up and punched him in the mouth in your own goal line, and you want to run a fade route. I mean, like, somebody has got to sit me down and say, this is the reason. I know Trey'Dez Green is a freak of nature. However, it's such an ill-advised throw. It's such an ill-advised decision by your quarterback. It's also a horrible-ass play call. You're running the ball for 5 yards a carry. You don't know what it's like to have success in the run game. Success is, to me, is when you line up and run the ball for 4 yards against a team that's top 30 in run defense. Newsflash, Peter Pan. So stupid. God. You're giving them the ball right before half in favorable field position. Guys, it's 10-7. At minimum, run the ball and make them call a timeout. But that's a whole nother thing. The incompletion stopped the clock. You started the drive at your own 1 yard line. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1 yard line. What if Nuss threw a pick there? What would have happened? Well, you would have lost, but maybe not. But would have been a lot closer. Golly, so dumb. 7th possession defensively. Faison in the flat. Whit Weeks is there. Sellers on a scramble goes for 7. Hunt on an out route goes for 3. Yep. Oh, excuse me. I backed that up. Faison for 1 in the flat. Hunt on an out route for 4. And 3rd and 5, scramble by Sellers. He breaks 3 tackles and gets a first down. Jack Pyburn then would clean it up on first down and get a sack. Really good play there by Jack Pyburn. Sellers gets flushed, tries to throw it out of bounds. I don't know. I mean, I guess he pitched it. It kind of looked like he'd fumbled, but I don't know. Sellers on the outside for a run, goes for 2, and then 3rd and 19 after a holding penalty. He would be flushed out of the pocket by Patrick Payton, and the ball is thrown away, and you would go into halftime. LSU would lead at half 10-7. All right. So at least you got a lead. But 2 stupid turnovers in the first half, absolutely abysmal. South Carolina would come out at halftime and put a really damn good drive together. They would run a 14-play drive. Excuse me. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11-play drive. Of the 11, 8 of them would be runs. You would have multiple runs for 10. You'd have a bubble screen that Sellers didn't throw. He'd go for 6. Sellers on a power run for 1. A counter by Faison that goes for 12. They're just trying to come out and run the football and be physical. I mean, they don't do anything special. I mean, there were a couple of runs in there for 10. 1 in there for 12. 1 in there for 8. I mean, after they passed the 50-yard line to come out to start the second half, the big holding call really hurt them. Mansour Delane on a sweep outside is held, and a penalty is thrown that would back up South Carolina. Really would help you get to 3rd down and force them to a field goal. You'd have a couple runs, 1 for 5, 1 for 2, and on 3rd and 14, a shuffle pass, and Bernard Gooden makes a tackle at the line of scrimmage that forces a 4th down and a field goal, which would be good, and you're tied at 10. So gave up some big runs there to start the second half. They passed the 50-yard line, and you really didn't let them do much. The big holding call pushed them back. And by the way, on that holding call, Pyburn was also held, so multiple guys could have been called for a holding on that one. But tied 10-10 and start of the second half. 8th possession by your offense. Green in the flat goes for 11. Hey, what happens when you get your playmakers the ball in space besides throwing the ball in the flat when it's first and 10 instead of 3rd and 1 when you could have run the football, but that's neither here nor there. Durham, we ran a counter. It went for 7. Good God, man. How many times are we going to get 4, 5, 6, 7 yards before you stick with the damn run game? Offside by South Carolina. Looked like Tyree Adams had jumped after a really good run by Caden Durham, but it would be a first down either way. Green on a wheel route goes for 19. Really good play call there by Joe Sloan. And you're getting Trey Green the ball, and you go for a first down. Nussmeier gets flushed, and he throws the ball away, but it comes back because Weston Davis gets called for a holding. Wouldn't matter, though, because Parker on a quick slant breaks a tackle, or looked like he broke a tackle, but would go for 43 yards and a touchdown. Guys, you got to let Garrett Nussmeier make quick decisions, and because when he takes longer than he needs to, it doesn't go good. So you threw the ball to Trey Green twice. On both of those throws to Trey it's a quick decision. You're on a wheel route, goes for 19. He's one-on-one. He doesn't have a lot of decisions outside of one, and he makes the decision. Well, do more of that. But Green with 2 big catches that would go for one for 30 yards. So 2 catches for 30 yards for Trey Green, and then a quick slant by Kyle Parker, who had a really good night, would get a 43-yard touchdown and a score. So the holding penalty doesn't hurt you by Weston Davis. You made a quick decision, and an athlete that you recruited made a play. Go figure. Go figure. Really good catch and run. Really good throw by Garrett, and you would get a score. LSU would go up 17-10. It'd be the last touchdown they'd have on the night, though. LSU defensively on the 9th possession would force a 3-and-out. Jacobs on a fade route. It's incomplete. P.J. Woodland on the coverage. Fuller goes for no gain. And 3rd and 10, they run an in route to the tight end that goes for 5, and they would punt. In that, they would try to run a fake punt. Guys, I got to be honest with you. You got away with one on the fake punt. I do not believe that they should have thrown a flag on the fake punt because technically a flag didn't come out, but they wind up backing up, calling it a legal procedure. Guys, it should have been a first down. I thought you contained them from a special teams perspective and Beamer ball pretty well. He ran a fake punt, and guys, it should have been a first down. They got screwed. I know LSU fans don't want to hear it, but the truth is they got screwed. They got massively screwed there. So in the fake punt, I feel bad for them. You know, I don't really feel bad for opponents we play, but I mean, it's a horrible call. And I think Beamer was right for freaking out. Wasn't the only SEC crew that had some horrible calls tonight. I feel massively bad for Auburn, to be real with you, if you were keeping eyes on that game at all. But SEC officiating is god-awful. And, guys, it's a bad call. I think Shane Beamer had every right to freak out there. Every bit of a right to freak out. Because the referee backed out. They made a substitution. They gave us chance, and the referee started backing out, and he didn't throw a flag when the ball was snapped. He has every right to freak out here. But they would punt the ball away and give your offense the football back. Johnson in the flat. Garrett Nussmeier after the punt grounds it. Didn't even give it an attempt. Garrett on a scramble goes for 4 yards. Like it when Nuss scrambles, which would lead to a 3rd and 6. Then Nuss stands up in the pocket and runs the football for 21 yards on 3rd and 6. Guys, teams get very much out of their lanes when they play you because they have no faith that Garrett Nussmeier is going to run the football. And look what happens when he picks his feet up off of the cement and actually starts getting moving. He takes his feet out of the cement that it's constantly in, and he runs the football. 21 yards and a first down, a really good run by Nuss. Do more of it, please. Do more of it, please. That's the stuff when you look at Garrett and you say to yourself, all right, well, we know it's in there. It's got to be a mentality thing. It's got to be. Because, I mean, guys, he had a run for 21 yards on an SEC opponent. You have the ability to do it more. You're not a bad athlete at all. Do it more. Really good scramble, really good run on a critical third down when you're, not too far from your own end zone, and you make a really good play there and a really good run. They had no clue. They thought the last thing in the world that Garrett would do would be run the football. And he did. And he got a massive gain off of it. And it's a beautiful play. And you know what it sets up? It sets up other running lanes. When your quarterback is able to, on third down, run the football for a massive gain, everybody has to start playing their gap and their assignments, and you can start scheming them up. I think the most dangerous thing in football is a quarterback that will run, because they'll keep you in front of the chains or just be mobile. And Garrett did that. And on the very next play, Juwan Johnson breaks off a 56-yard run. You would get 77 yards or 76 yards on one drive. So you had 166 yards on the night rushing. On that 166 yards rushing that you did have, 70 plus of it came on this drive. On this drive. What a beautiful, beautiful drive to have when you have not found a run game at all. Juwan Johnson fumbles earlier. He makes up for it. A massive run of 56 yards. Nussmeier on third down, pushing up in the pocket, making a very athletic play, and goes for a first down and even more. Beautiful. It's how you win football games, guys. Beautiful. Hey, man, this guy just scrambled on us. Next play, they run it right at us, and really good blocks by Cohen Eccles, and we break it, and we go for 56 yards. Beautiful stuff. I thought it was the best two things that really happened on the night outside of the Trey Green touchdown. Yeah, really. Pretty much some of the best things that you had. Out of the Trey Green touchdown, the Kyle Parker slant, it really is. Beautiful stuff. I tweeted this during the game. I'm like, man, we just had a 56-yard long run. I'm going to bust. I couldn't believe it. But all would come crashing down. Very next play, Juwan Johnson would have an inside zone run for 2 yards that would set up second down and goal. On an RPO slant, Garrett Nussmeier would pull it, throw it, and get picked. All right. The RPO slant that got picked in the red zone or in the end zone by Garrett Nussmeier was a selfish decision. Very selfish. It is a horrible decision. And yet again, you're sitting back after you did some really good things, the long runs, plural. You get into the red zone, you get damn near close to the end zone, and you run an RPO because you're trying to get the touchdown yourself, and you make a bad read, you make a bad decision, and you get picked. It's really taking me a lot to not lose my mind. It really is taking me a lot not to just come out here and let it rip. Should I probably let it rip? Probably. But, man, I am so sick and tired of the interceptions. I'm done with them. I'm done with it. I just don't understand the decision-making that we have and that Garrett has in some of these situations. I talked about it earlier, so let's go through it here. You're going to have to sit him down, and you're going to have to walk through more film and get more work about what he's got to do in these situations. The truth of the matter is that he has got to give the ball off. The safety sits back waiting on the RPO. You got to give it. And if you score, great. If you don't, sucks, but live to fight another day. You cannot make that throw. And this has been something that has plagued Garrett from the beginning of his tenure at LSU. He's making constantly bad decisions in wrong and inopportune times. It's got to stop. And quite frankly, did he make some throws tonight? Did he have a pair of touchdowns tonight? Yes. Great throw to Trey'Dez Green. Kyle Parker made an exceptional play on a quick slant on a 5-yard throw. Good. You got a pair of touchdowns and a pair of scores. The interceptions, to me, are so inexcusable. When you fumble the ball down in the red zone, it's horrible too. So I'm not excluding Jawan Johnson from earlier when we talked about his fumble. But you got to stop turning the ball over. Guys, what more do we have to see? Like, this is what I've been trying to say. And even last year, from the decision-making that I thought never got better. I never thought throughout the season last year that the decision-making ever just took a leap. Were there moments and instances and flashes? Yes. That cannot happen. The guy that you're running the RPO with just broke off a run for 56 yards. The safety sits back and reads the RPO, reads the slant that you're throwing to Trey'Dez Green. He knows that you're going to throw it. He's giving you the run. They don't, even after you have a 56-yard run, they still don't respect your run game. Let me say that again. They didn't respect it. The safety should have come down in the box to help take away the run. He doesn't. And then you pull it and you selfishly throw the football into double coverage and it gets picked. And you're lucky that he came outside the end zone. I don't know what some have got to see to stop making excuses in reference to the bad and horrible decision-making. There was a lot made over these last 2 weeks. A lot. From myself, from other people in the media. And there was a viral clip that went out there over the 2 weeks from me, and it got a lot of hate. A lot of you sent me the tiger dropping shit. I get it. You think I hate the kid. I don't. You can't look at 17 interceptions and 11 SEC starts and sit there in good conscience and tell me that it's not bad. Quite honestly, you can't sit there and tell me that it's not horrible. Because if you do, you're either number one, a blithering idiot, or number two, you're sitting here telling me or making excuses because you don't want your take to be wrong. I have wrong takes all the time. We move on. Want to hear one? I thought Oregon was going to walk over Indiana today. Didn't happen. I was completely wrong. But when a team shows you and you show that you constantly are going to turn the ball over, what else do you got to see? I have not heard Brian Kelly's press conference. I don't get a chance to until after these post games. I don't. I have no idea if he was asked. None. So to the 4,900 of you that are sitting here watching this post game right now, I have no idea if he was asked about it. Maybe you can tell me in the chat. But I see like in here, Cajun Curveball says this O-line is so bad. Okay, well, you can say it's so bad, but the turnovers had nothing to do with the torso, with the viral clip, me saying torso has nothing to do with his bad decision-making, and it didn't have anything to do tonight with the 2 turnovers. Y'all got to stop making excuses. Got to be real with you. The excuses have got to stop. You got to have a fifth-year senior quarterback that's still putting the ball in harm's way too much. Now, I saw a lot of you today, a lot of you on social media today, like Twitter, saying, oh my God, John Mateer is such a bad decision maker. He's throwing a pick in every game. Bruh. Some of you that have called me shit, so many things under the sun, and now you see that and you say, he's a horrible decision maker. What the fuck else do you got to see? I'm sorry, man. He's making very, very, very bad decisions. Guys, it's 17-10. And if your defense breaks at any given point, which, by the way, they go on a massive drive following this. They start the ball. They start it at their own 1-yard line. If it's not for a sack by Bernard Gooden and Whit Weeks, you're in serious trouble. Look, you would have a couple of plays and you'd start the fourth quarter after it. But you got on the 1-yard line and you couldn't score twice. Tonight you won 20-10. You should have beaten them 34-10 at minimum. You should have blown them out. So you could blame the run game. You can blame the running backs. Guys, how can you blame the O-line in the run game when Jawan Johnson had a 56-yard run on that same exact series? I hear so many times, O-line run game, O-line run game. What did the O-line do there? I told you after Ole Miss, I'm tired, and I said it to Carter. I said it on here. I've said it everywhere I've gone. I'm tired of hearing about the offensive line, guys. I'm tired of hearing it. Because, guys, did they play great tonight? Nope. No, they didn't. They played good enough. They didn't turn the ball over twice. Franco Nation, my blood pressure is... I don't know my blood pressure. My pulse is 81. I'm not mad. It's aggravating and irritating. Again, I'm just going to keep saying it. 17 turnovers and 11 SEC starts. If any of you think that that's good, you don't know football. I'm sorry, you just don't. Or you're making an excuse for something you shouldn't be making an excuse for. He's got to play better. When we say he's got to play better, it becomes lip service. It's not, guys, it's not lip service. It's real. Because you get in the game versus Alabama or A&M, or you go on the road to Norman, you go on the road to Nashville next weekend, you do stuff away from home and you do that and momentum and the crowd gets involved, you're going to lose. Your defense is going to break at some point. Somebody's just going to they're going to have an off night. They're going to have an off night. And they're going to need your offense to pick it up for them. And I don't think they can. If your offense does not hold people to below 20 points right now against a P4 opponent, you're going to lose. Because you're halfway through the season. Look, I mean, after the interception, they would go on a massive drive in the fourth quarter to start the fourth quarter. Multiple runs of 14 yards. They had a hitch to Harbor that went for 20. They had Sellers that scrambled, missed Patrick Payton and Harold Perkins missed him on a scramble on a drop back. He would get 8 yards. Both guys missed a sack there. You forced a 3rd and 1 a couple of times, and they would get it on a fuller zone read that he'd be giving off and giving 2 yards on 3rd and 1. Basically, they shot themselves in the foot. After a long drive and where they're running the ball right down your throat, they'd have a false start, they have a grounding, they'd have a scramble, and for 10 yards on 2nd and 28, and then a 3rd and 18, Sellers got sacked by Bernard Gooden and Whit Weeks. I mean, your defense came up strong for you again because they made some mistakes of their own. What happens if teams stop making mistakes? Guys, I keep seeing all these things in the chat about the offensive line. Guys, I get it. I don't disagree with you, but I'm sorry. It's not why your offense – it's not why you didn't blow them out 34-10. You should have blown them out. Big sack in the fourth quarter. They had to punt the ball away. Offensively, you would have a 3-and-out counter by Barry. Stewart gets a tackle for loss. Durham on a check down almost got picked. Oh, 3rd and 8, check down. Trey'Dez Green, what's his name? Jordan Rogers on the telecast showed the drag route by Trey'Dez Green wide ass open. So 3-and-out in the fourth quarter. You would first force a 4-and-out or 3-and-out of your own. In the fourth quarter, Mansour Delane would be in coverage twice, have a PBU on a fade route and then a PBU on 4th down. So they go for it, and you basically almost pretty much end the game there. Still 17-10, though. Last possession for you offensively outside the kneel down. Green on the reception for 18 yards and a 1st down. Nuss on a throwaway. Caden Durham on a dive for 15. Guys, how many times are you going to have fucking runs in the second half where you're still throwing the ball in the fourth quarter? How many times? The 3rd and 4th quarter, you're running the ball at will. You have a 56-yard run, a 21-yard run, and then you get a 15-yard run by Caden Durham on a simple dive. And you didn't stay with it. No, what you would do is you throw a middle screen. Nuss would call a timeout. Oh! Brown on a hitch route would go for 11. Green on a fade route for 24. Then you get in the goal line. And Durham goes for a dive, gets nothing. Quarterback sneak. Garrett fumbles. And then on 3rd and goal, you get a tackle for loss because Bauer Sharp got demolished. Because you had the ball 3 times on your own at least 3-yard line, and you got 3 points. Oh. Good God, man. A win is a win, but the way you ended the game is fucking horrible. God. You should have blown them out. So look, before we get to super chats, phone calls, all that, this is what I'd say. Guys, you have a defense that I think that can keep you in and is going to keep you in a lot of games. Offensively, you're broken. if your quarterback is going to keep making bad decisions, you got to have a discussion. They must have zero faith in Michael Van Buren. It's the only thing I know. But Nuss is not playing good enough right now. His offensive line's not playing good enough right now either. It's not all on him. He doesn't have a great play caller. But it doesn't excuse the decision-making. It just doesn't. I don't know where they go from here. Keep running the football, keep managing the game the way that you're doing, and pray to God your defense can hold someone to under 20 points. Because if they don't, you're not winning. You're not winning. From here on out, if your defense right now, based off what we've seen halfway through the season, if your defense does not hold someone to under 24, you will lose. You're going to lose. So until they get it corrected, do I think that you did some more things and better things tonight offensively? Yes. Did you gradually kind of take a little bit of a step in the run game? Maybe so. I hope so. Maybe. But guys, this is awful. You've had 2 weeks and you scored the same amount of points that you've been scoring. Not good, man. I don't know what to do. I really, really don't. All right. Let's get to these super chats here. Yes, you can send in the super chats or wait for the phone calls at the end. Dane Bergeron with a $5 super chat says red zone offense still sucks. Still does, brother. Still does. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, Dane. I mean, you just cannot be at least your own 3-yard line and have 3 points. And really, I don't think it's all on play calling. Because Juwan Johnson fumble, I mean, yeah, if he doesn't fumble, does he get in? Yeah. And then Garrett makes a horrible decision. Both are backbreakers. Alexander Taylor with a $5 super chat says, this team is just inverse of 2023. Garrett's got to go. He's hindering this team. He's not playing well right now. Tonight's not an injury, guys. Tonight is not injury related. It isn't. Say what you want, say what you will. It's just not. So think what you want, say what you want, but it's not. Mr. Terps with 2 super chats, one for $2 and one for $5, says Trey'Dez Green made some real great plays tonight. I feel our running backs can't break tackles and Garrett needs to make better decisions. I agree with all of that. But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Let me find it here. Damn, Milwaukee beat Chicago tonight. Let me find it. Hold on. I accidentally exited out of the total box score. LSU ran tonight. I'm pretty sure it was 1 for 166. Yeah, 166. 5.5 yards per carry. I'll take that any day of the week. I'll take that any day of the week. And twice on Sundays, or twice on Saturdays. Michael Sand with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Michael. Says, I don't understand the issue in the red zone. What is the solution to fix it? You got to pray to God that you can run the football and not turn the ball over. I don't think Garrett's a good decision maker there. I don't think he's a good decision maker really anywhere. But, I mean, keep throwing the ball to Trey'Dez Green. Really. But I say that. You did throw a RPO to Trey'Dez Green, and you threw a pick. I don't know. A better play caller, better decision maker, I don't know. Don't have a guy that spent the entire offseason playing quarterback at your running back and needing him to score for you in critical situations in the SEC. go to the portal and get a running back? I'm going to tell you, I'm sure Frank Wilson believes he doesn't need a portal running back. He's wrong. He's wrong. I still think that there's an avenue for a 220 to 230 pound running back, not named Caleb Jackson, that you can hand the ball off to and put their head down and go F somebody up. Did y'all watch the game before LSU's? Did you watch Tennessee and Arkansas? Want to know how Arkansas stayed in that game? Well, go watch it. Go watch it. Michael, I don't know. I legitimately don't know. Frank Castle with a $5 super chat says BK isn't to blame for this game. This is a nuts problem. The play calling set the offense up all night. Coaches stepped up, and offensive players let us down. If you're asking me about specifically, if you're asking me about, I don't think Joe Sloan called a bad game. Do I think that there were some situations tonight where he could have been better? Yes. But I got to be real with you. It's not going to happen, and I don't know if he gets the time to do this. I want to see what he looks like without Garrett. Just for my own sake. And I'm sure for his own sake, he would probably want that. But Garrett does not do him many favors. I agree with Frank that things got set up a lot better tonight. And in those things getting set up, you still made bad decisions and the game's still close because of it. That want to know why that you didn't blow them out? Turnovers. Hold on. Epiphany. You want to know why you didn't blow out South Carolina? It's because you turned the ball over. And so when I come out here and I freak out over turnovers and you say, oh, Blake, this problem, that excuse, this excuse. And I say, no, you can't turn the ball over in football and think you'll win football games. And if you do, it's because defensively you were elite. Huh. Anyway, every AYS postgame show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Go over to FanDuel.com today. Download the mobile sports app. Go bet on those parlays. Go bet on college football, NFLs tomorrow. You can do all of that from the number one sports book in the United States and the state of Louisiana, the FD FanDuel Sportsbook app. We'll probably be over there tomorrow on my damn self. Some NFL is going to be on there, but use your discretionary income. If you don't know what you're doing, go over to FanDuel.com/RG for more details or learn a little bit about it more before you go over to FanDuel and place those bets. All right. A couple of more of these. We got to that one. Matthew became a member on the YouTube channel along with Lucas. Thank you both for doing that so much. Cordero also became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you all guys for becoming a member on the YouTube channel. Just means we're probably going to have to start doing some members only content. Thank you all for joining. I do greatly, greatly appreciate it. Terrell with a $5 super chat. Terrell, what did you say anything else? He says, yes, Weston Davis's ass. Tired of seeing our offensive linemen watching the opposing teams make tackles. Yeah, I don't think Trey'Dez Green. I don't think that Weston Davis had a good night at all. Even in him not having a bad night, I thought your offensive line as a whole did enough. Weston's having some struggles. They're going to keep running him out there. They didn't even try to go to DJ Chester at right tackle. They didn't even go to Carius Kern, which I think which they're going to keep saying that Carius just doesn't know the plays, but tell him the plays. Do something. I thought Carius played better than what Weston against Ole Miss than what Weston did against South Carolina. And you could say, well, Dylan Stewart was lined up on Weston Davis all night. You was. And Carius did not have to face that. And I guess I understand the decision, but Weston Davis had a horrible night, a really, really bad night. Rodney Scott with a $5 super chat says, "What you think about them Tigers? Their Tigers. At best, I see them losing about 2 more games. At worst, I see them 3 or 4. I don't think they lose 3 or 4. If you ask me, I would say, like, look, man, I think A&M, who's undefeated right now. I mean, what do you make of them? What do you make of Bama? Can you go on the road and beat them? You got Vandy next week, which you can't overlook. They're coming off a bye week after getting beat by Alabama. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know. But I still think that there's got to be a shorter leash for Garrett, and I don't know if they'll do it. Like, at what point do you look at the turnovers and say, hey, buddy, like, you had your chance here? I don't know. Broad337 with a $5 super chat says, Blake, is it NIL? At this point, there's nothing but an injury that will get Garrett benched because his play clearly doesn't matter. I don't want to say that it's – and thank you, Brett B., for the super chat, man. I greatly appreciate it. I don't know. I don't know. But I would assume that Nuss is one of, if not your highest paid athlete, and he's not playing like it. What's Tiger droppings in that on-3 board going to say now? My mom texts me and says, I feel like watching this offense. I need a stiff drink, and I don't even drink. I agree with her. She ain't wrong. I don't know the problem. I think a lot of it is that you seem unprepared offensively from a quarterback position. You seem ill-prepared in some situations. Looks like the coaching staff's coaching for their lives, and your quarterback's making bad decisions. Grot with a $5 super chat says, soft double chin Nuss ran and took his Jigga Chad Nuss. I don't know. Got my respect back. Drops, fumbles, and blocking failures were an issue. We will be okay. Not if you turn the ball over, you won't, Grot. Not if you turn the ball over, you won't. And let me ask you guys, at what point in SEC play, I'm kind of baking in that you're going to turn the ball over in the SEC in conference play. So not if you turn the ball over, you're not. Hal Mendoza says they mentioned the war score for the offensive line and my jewelry dropped. Everyone on our O-line was ranked in triple digits. Like, can we please switch it up? No, or you would have. I thought they played fine. I thought they had some big runs. I thought they were fine. Were they great? No. Were they good? No. I'd say they're about average. Because you ran the ball for 166 yards. They had some good plays in there. Were they great? No. Did Nuss get hit? Yes. But, guys, let's just say hypothetically, Nuss gives the ball off on the RPO and you score, and Juwan doesn't fumble and you score, and you beat him 34-10. You come in here and say, hey, man, was the run game great? No. I mean, did Weston Davis kind of have a bad game? Kind of. Yeah, he did. But if you would have blown him out, people wouldn't have been talking about the O-line because of some of the big plays they had. So, Cajun Curveball says, I'm done with Nuss, undrafted free agent. He's going to get drafted by somebody. Somebody's going to take a flyer on him. $5 super chat from Bro337 says, didn't love us. quote unquote, changing things up means number 0 just doesn't get the ball anymore, arguably our best player this year. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to throw the ball to Trey Green and you're not giving it to Barryon either. You try to outsmart people by giving it to Parker and Green, which was a good play call, but then you don't go elsewhere. Cation Curveball says, brother, I hate Nuss. Ban him from Louisiana. All right, I don't hate him. Neither should you. Christian Barnes became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Christian. I greatly appreciate that very much. Curveball also says, why can't we ever put both sides of the ball together? Dude, I'm ready to ship Kelly and Sloan out. This is ridiculous, dude. Program getting destroyed. It's not getting destroyed, brother. You're 5-1. It's not destroyed. You're just not playing the football you need to play. It's not destroyed. Rodney Scott says it's not reciprocal between the offense and the defense. No complementary football at all. None. 0. And that's a problem. That's a massive problem. Curveball says, everyone clown me for loving Durham. He doesn't fumble the ball like Barry or Johnson. When did Barry fumble the football? Maybe once. Johnson's trash, garbage, Durham only. He had a 56-yard run. I don't think he's trash. I think that's way too tough. Also says Andrew Hatch is better than us. No, he's not. Andrew Hatch is not better than Garrett. General Grievous with a $2 super chat says, what's keeping us from benching Nuss? I don't get it. I don't know. I mean, he had two touchdowns. I mean, one that Kyle Parker basically did on his own. Then he had a good throw to Trey Dez. But, I mean, the mistakes are the mistakes, man. They're not good enough. All right, General Grievous with a $2 super chat says, like with Kern not starting 2, what's going on? I don't think Cohen played bad, but I would have loved to seen Carius Kern. The Kern thing has just got to be that he doesn't know the plays, or got to be. But I don't think that that's an excuse. I've heard a couple. This is what I tell you what I've heard on Carius Kern. They don't think that he knows the plays well enough to put him out there on every play. But even in not putting him out there, it's a crapshoot of what you're getting without him. So I don't know. All right. 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387 is the phone number. I'm going to put the number in the chat if you want to call into the show. I don't know how long we're going to do them, but we are going to take some phone calls here. So 225-435-9387 is the number to call. Lucas Abear with a $5 super chat, also a member on the YouTube channel, says the SEC is wide open if we could get our shit together. Boy, is it. Boy, is it. I mean, guys, as crazy as this sounds, Texas has only one SEC loss, so they're not out of it. I mean, you got Georgia in there, you got Bama in there, you got LSU in there, you got A&M in there, you got Ole Miss in there. You got Missouri in there, you got Tennessee in there. I mean, it's wide open. It's wide open. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Yeah, this is Trey. I'm also Grot.
What's up, Grot? What'd you think of the game?
Look, man, I just want to say I love your show. I got to say, look, I know the game was ugly, all right, and there was a lot of turnovers, but I got to say something, man. Like, Nuss, he looked bad. Today, he looked good. He looked good against Southeastern. That was trash team. But this was his best performance against a really good opponent. I think passing the ball, he looked excellent. Yes, there was that one turnover. Other than that, I don't really think it was really his fault. I think it was a bunch of drops. Chris Hilton. I mean, they had Trey Green had I think a drop or whatever. They had some other guys that didn't catch the ball. They moved the ball. I think the play calling was pretty good. If you take away the Jawan Johnson, his second fumble of the year, I think with a couple of mistakes, like you said, it would have been a blown out. I really don't think it was Nuss's fault. It is a home game. He struggled against Ole Miss.
I'm sorry. The RPO interception is his fault. Anytime that you throw an interception, it's your fault. Mainly. If you're making bad decisions, Grot, it's your fault. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's got 17 turnovers and 11 SEC starts. At some point, it's everybody but his fault?
No, I get it. It's just out of all of the mistakes, he had one of them. It was a big one, but, I'm just saying it wasn't just him. Compared to the rest of the year, I just feel like given this situation,
well, when was another
really
time
just him.
What was the other time in this season he had 166 yards rushing?
Okay. Yeah, no. Hey, no, you're right about that. This was our best offensive rushing performance. That.
I mean, like, the excuse has been, in some tonight, was his O-line sucked. Brother, you can't throw the ball over the middle of the field and be late on it. It gets picked. You can't throw. The RPO was a selfish throw that he made that got picked. So, to be honest with you, is it all on him? No. Just to say that I'm not just pointing him out, Jawan's fumble is just as egregious.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm sorry. My daughter's really upset right now too. She sucks. She's so upset about the game because it was a bad win. But I know.
All right. I hate the baby is in there, but sorry, Grot. The baby's screaming in the show. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Hey, Blake. It's Dakota.
What's going on, Dakota? What'd you think of the game?
Real quick before we talk about it, Lucas Hill wanted me to tell you hello.
Oh, okay. Hello to Lucas. What'd you think of the game, buddy?
Yeah, I thought. Okay, first off, I'm done with. I'm just like you, man. I'm done with the excuses. I mean, defense. This defense is bailing us out. Like
every
this
week.
Offense. Every week. And I don't even blame them for the Ole Miss game. Like, yeah, they were out because they're out there for so many plays. The problem is everybody wants to say the offensive line. Yeah, I mean, they're not playing great. But when you got a quarterback that's played 11 SEC games and has, turned the ball over 17 times, that's not good. Like,
no.
Do you think that is, like, that would, like that right there, wouldn't that tell you that he should be benched, in your opinion?
If you're asking me my opinion, I would say that I want to see what Michael Van Buren can do. Personally, they're just not going to do. I just don't think they're going to do it, because the thing with Garrett is that he makes, like the caller before you. I don't know if you heard the caller before you. I thought he played exceptional tonight. No, he didn't. So did he make? The thing with Garrett is that Garrett has flashes of making exceptional plays, absolutely ridiculous plays that are also then carried by some very, very, very bad decision making. And I don't know if the good right now is outweighing the bad. Like, for example, it's not just the interceptions. It's the, hey man, toughen up, run the quarterback sneak, don't call timeout, don't do all of those things. Like, I feel like that he's trying too many things, or either he doesn't understand it, or I don't know. But in reference to the benching, I don't, I'm not there every day to see Michael Van Buren. So it would be easy for me to come out here and say yes, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. Was he bad last week? Now, I asked Brian Kelly in the press conference last Monday, hey man, what's going on with him? Oh, he looked great. Okay, well, apparently he didn't.
That, and here's the other thing I don't understand. So Nussmeier, he gets hit I mean, you see him getting hit, and then he gets up, and he's out here limping. It's like, look, I'm not trying to make excuses for him. He's got to play better, man. Like, you cannot – you had opportunity to – I mean, yeah, you said 34-10. I mean, heck, we would have potentially put up 38 points if we could have scored. Like, the fumble we had, the first touchdown we could have scored, right? And it was a fumble by – was it Jawan Johnson that fumbled it?
Yeah, Jawan fumbled the first – yep.
And then Garrett throws his first interception, and then he threw that – looked like a slant, threw it right to him. It's like every time we have a positive play, we force a turnover.
Well,
and like,
to your point, it could have been more than 34. It could have been in the 40s because you got the ball on the 1 yard line again, and then you couldn't get in because you try the quarterback sneak. I mean, like the 34-10, Dakota, it should have been 41-10 if we're just being truthful, because you got the ball at your own 1 yard line 3 times. Okay. And then you only got 3 points out of it. Brother, that is legitimately an 18-point swing. So to your point on the 38, yes, you could have gotten to the 38. That's the part. Now, can they ever get to a place where that doesn't happen? If they do, then they can make the playoff. If they don't, then they're not making the playoff.
And real quick. You're talking about the first drive that South Carolina had where they fumbled the ball, right? You talking about where they fumbled it and we kicked 3 points?
So that one, okay?
Yeah.
You got 3 points. You could have gotten that one. The Jawan, and I'm not even I didn't even count that one. But yes, you got 3. Yeah. The 3 I was counting was the Johnson fumble, the RPO slant fumble. RPO slant interception, and the quarterback sneak that you couldn't get in from the 1 yard line.
And that correct.
So
however,
even if you're to your point, when the fumble happened, if you got 7 there, yes, you could have blown them out. You should have blown them out. That's the part where it's like, God, dog. Like, here's the truth: you dominated their ass. Here's the
correct.
You dominated them. The score doesn't indicate that. You dominated them, and it doesn't look pretty. Why can't you blow a team out? By the way, coming off of a bye week.
Exactly. And I called Lucas Hill. I asked him his opinion on the game. The South Carolina guy. I was asking his opinion on the game, and he was saying that South Carolina, I mean, he was saying that South Carolina, they were shooting themselves in the foot too. And I felt like LSU, realistically, it felt like we were trying to give them the game, as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah,
like,
do that to A&M.
But our defense.
Do that to A&M in 2 weeks. You're going to get blown out your damn self.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Blake. We ain't losing to Texas A&M. Because you know why?
Yeah,
look, I'm gonna tell you why.
This ain't your grandpa's Texas A&M. This ain't your A&M. Turn the ball over to him and see what happens. You're gonna get blown out.
I know. Look, man. I hope we don't lose to him. I'm just messing with you, Blake.
Look, some people call me
they good, man.
Rhyme with Aggies in the comments, but it is what it is. Thanks, Dakota.
Thank you, Blake.
Yeah, you should have seen one of the comments on YouTube this week. Somebody called me something that rhymes with Aggie. Happily married man. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
How's it going, Blake? This is Charles. I called after the Ole Miss game last week, and I went on a bit of a tirade, I think you'd probably call it, and I thought I was going to.
Brother, I don't remember what I had for breakfast, but all good. I appreciate you calling back.
I don't expect you to remember. I just say that to say I thought I was going to do the same tonight, and I decided I'm not sure that's productive. Frankly, I'm drained, and I don't have the energy to rant about us, so I'll preface the question I have for you.
Okay.
I was watching Last Dance documentary a couple weeks ago, And there's that famous scene where Jordan says, a lot of people call me an a-hole. They say I'm a jerk, but I just wanted to win. That's all I wanted, and I wanted them to win. I feel like that's a mentality I'm not seeing around the program, and most people's response would be, how would you know that? You're not around the program. The reason I feel like that mentality is missing is because there doesn't seem to be any pressure to have changes. And the last quote I'll say is, nothing changes if nothing changes. And after this season and the 19 games or whatever of the O-line and Sloan and et cetera, nothing's changing. So I say that to say I've been Mr. Negative in my head and in my friend group arguments about the game. I'd like to ask, what is your most realistic, optimistic outlook on how we somehow become a competent football team without firing? I want him fired, but I know you don't want to call for that. Without firing BK, how do I look at this optimistically?
All right. So two things. You're not looking at it negatively. I'm tired of the fan base, not you specifically, but just hear me out. Are you looking at it from a negative lens, or are you looking from it from a realistic lens? Because you went 8-4 last year. Okay. And your offense has gotten worse this year. So the question you need to ask yourself mentally as a fan, am I looking at it from a negative light, or am I looking at it from a realistic light? I think that people are looking at it from a realistic light, and it kind of took them a little bit longer maybe than it should have. All right. What do? You got to get alphas. The bottom line truth is that when you look at, for me, when you look at teams that constantly dominate, they have alpha dogs. And I feel like and I don't want to say you have them at every position, but look what happened to you defensively. You went out and got different personnel. Did it make Blake Baker better or worse? Well, right now it makes him look better. And I don't think that you have the personnel that you need offensively to do what you need to do. I don't think Brian Kelly can – this is about mentality from Brian Kelly at the current moment. I don't think that you can give him 2023 offense, then now 2025 defense, and say that some of the things that he's preaching isn't hitting home to some people. They haven't put it all together. All right. A realistic, optimistic expectation is that you went out in the month of October. You beat Vandy next week, you beat A&M, and you get to a situation where you go into your final bye week. You lose to either Bama or Oklahoma, and then you win. So let's say you lose to Bama. Then you win out and you make the playoff, because I think defensively your team can carry you defensively throughout those. The problem is I think A&M can come in here and score 24 points. I do. I don't think you can. So where I think giving up 24 points would be good against that offense, I don't think you can hold them to that. So my realistic expectation is for you to be 9-3, like what we called for from the beginning of the year, and that's where I have you. I don't know if you have enough offensively to get over that hump.
I hear you. And I agree with largely everything you said, including the mentality thing at the start. I guess my fear is that if we continue to, which I feel like is happening around the program, if we continue to defend mediocrity, I know, and I know you could easily say, don't worry about what other people are saying. I'm scared to death that people are going to think of LSU, Louisiana State University, like they think about Penn State now. Because right now
it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad.
As a program, yes, Penn State today, the stock went even further down. But I mean the way they thought about Penn State over the last few years in general.
Yeah.
Because as a program right now, we're as revered as almost any. And when they think about Baton Rouge and Louisiana as a state, not even just they're thinking about LSU football. And if we continue to be mediocre, I'm worried people are going to forget about us as an upper echelon program, which is why I get so frustrated when people are trying to defend the coaches or Nuss in a time like this. But I agree with you on your outlook. So I'll try and hold steady to that.
You just got to pray that defensively you keep showing up. Thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll take a couple more here. Whoever this 504 number is calling in, brother, you called 17 times. Hopefully we can get you in here. 225-435-9387. I think we had a super chat in here. Caller, hang on for just a second. We got a super chat in here I need to read off real quick, so stay on the line with me. 337 with a $10 super chat says, people say Lane is the best DT play caller, and I swear he just finds a play and it works and makes you stop it. Sloan sees a play, it works, and I swear to God, he won't ever run it again. I do agree with that. Like the runs tonight, like a counter run that you got 23 yards off of, and you don't go back to it. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is AYS Sports Postgame Show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Hey, Blake, it's Faisal. How are you?
Good, man. What'd you think of the game?
I enjoyed the game. It was a little stressful, as always, but, a couple of things that caught my eye. Nuss definitely looked better, as you stated. Some bad turnovers, especially with the Traders game when we could have put the game away. But, that's what Nuss does. So we got a little bit that. But one thing I noticed, and this is, they were talking about this on the broadcast too, right? Nuss took a couple of big hits. When we were in the red zone, or not even red zone, like 2-yard line, you're sneaking in with him. Why not just bring in Van Buren at that time? He's a better runner. You know what I mean? If you're really going to sneak it or use a quarterback to run it.
Brian Kelly said this past week in his postgame that he's not taking out Garrett to put in Michael Van Buren. It gets down to a situation where, guys, we have to look at it to a situation. If they're not going to do anything with him, that they don't trust him.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, my biggest concern, or not a concern per se, but the big thing, if you've noticed, I don't know what's your take on it, but it seems like Blake Baker is not using Perks properly the way it's like the same thing when we had, what's his name, who was up, I forget the D coordinator that used him really badly. But, he's best at pass rushing. He wreaks havoc when he rushes the passer. It seems like we're not using him. I don't get it. I know defense is playing stellar, but still, I just feel like we're misusing him, putting him in the slot to cover guys. And even if he does, they were showing in the broadcast again about this, that you're making him pass the rusher from 4, 5, 7 yards. He's barely ever going to get there.
Faisal, we've given up 17 points in the last 6 quarters.
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying, I feel like you can use Perks much better, and he would be much more havoc.
My point would be, what are we complaining about the defense and how he's using them when you've given up 17 points in 6 quarters?
Especially,
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
What are we complaining about when you've given up 17 points in 6 quarters?
I just feel like our pass rush at times it doesn't get there when we need it.
You got to tell us a lot tonight. You just couldn't bring him down. I'm sorry, he's special. I'm sorry to tell everybody this. He's special.
No, I agree. The seller is special. It's hard to get him down. I understand that. But I feel like Perk would match up better there if you just let him spy instead. Reese did a good job. I think he had Pyburn also had some tough time getting him down. But I just feel like Perk is just Perk. You know what I mean? You already know. But the other thing that's where I think it will play into it next week and going forward is I was listening to Kelly's press conference, and Gooden and Butler, they got injured and they're going in for scan. So hopefully maybe that's where they're going to start utilizing Perks. At the end, because if they're 2 down, we're already down 1. What's it called? DN. Now if we lose 2 more.
Those guys are defensive tackles.
Yeah, but our depth is getting hit.
Welcome to SEC football, brother. It's always good.
Yes, sir.
All right, Faisal, thanks for the phone call, buddy.
All
right, one more. 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387 is the number to call. Boy, people going after it. Damn, this 504 number been calling all night. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Hey, Blake, it's Devin.
What'd you think of the game, buddy?
I just want to start off by saying, Blake, I appreciate you for being honest with the LSU fan base. I don't know why they treat Garrett like he's the prodigal son just because he was born in Lake Charles. Whenever you watch Garrett play, the stuff that he does with the ball is mind-blowing. Throwing in the triple coverage, double coverage, going off balance, doing dumb stuff with the ball. We've been watching it for the last 2 years, even going back to when he was a freshman and he got beat out by Max Johnson and them. He's been doing the same thing since he's been at LSU, and he's a fifth-year senior. They're talking like this guy is a first-year starter in the SEC. He's a fifth-year senior. Fifth year. He came back to LSU to lead us to the national championship, and he's hindering us from winning the national championship. We can't produce on offense. And personally, I'm not gonna lie to you, Blake. I'm tired of seeing Juwan Johnson run the ball. He fumbled on the goal line. That's fine. It's inexcusable, but I don't understand why it feels like he's the lead back when we got Caden and Barry. I feel like Barry should be getting more touches than Juwan Johnson. I can't understand it. And to everybody's point about putting in Van Buren, that's not gonna happen. He already said he's not doing it. But if you ran Wildcat with Juwan Johnson earlier in the game, why are you running a QB sneak with Nuss? He doesn't like to get touched. To me personally, and Blake, I don't know if I can curse on here. Garrett is a bitch. He does not like contact. He refused. Now he did run today. Anytime he runs, I imagine him like my son. I'm jumping up for joy anytime he takes a step out of the pocket. He does not like to get touched. So if you are going to run a QB sneak or anything of the sort, do the Wildcat with Juwan Johnson if you don't already have him in the game. It just does not make sense.
Yeah. I'm not going to call him, the B word, because at the end of the day, he's still taking hits. He's still getting up and he's still taking hits. However,
now, Blake, I agree with you there.
There is a defense of I respect. I do respect a lot. That look, man, he took some shots tonight. However, to your ultimate point, okay, it does seem like the quarterback sneak is awful. I'm glad he ran. We talked about it on Thursday where it's like, hey, man, he's got to do it. Like it was our number 2 key to victory. Hey, man, they're going to get out of their pass rush. Look at what Prabula did for Missouri. If they'll do it to him, they'll do it to you. But it does get to a situation where it starts getting frustrating where the simple things aren't simple anymore. And that's the part where, I feel like every time that you feel like that, I always worry about if we're going to turn the ball over every drive offensively. Like I'm sitting there during the game, I'm like, God, please don't turn it over. Don't turn it over. Don't turn it over. And that's not a great way to live. Turnovers should surprise you when you have them offensively. They shouldn't be like this.
I agree. And I will give him credit. He did look better throwing the ball tonight.
He's not hurt.
No, I 100%. He's clearly not hurt anymore. But I just feel like your team goes as far as your quarterback, right?
Yep.
If he's not willing, and I can't say he's not willing to sacrifice his body because I don't know what he goes through on a day-to-day basis. But whenever you, as you say, whenever you have 10, 15 yards of green grass in front of you and you refuse to run, you can see our defense literally died in the Ole Miss game. We should have won that game. They died because they are getting stop after stop and offense is going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the game, I don't understand how Brian could even point to saying the defense didn't do their job. I don't know how he could even fix his lips to say it.
I don't either. I don't understand anybody talking about the defense. Guys, think about this. They have less games, or they have more games this season of not giving up 30 points than any other Brian Kelly team in any year combined. Do you understand? Do you understand what I just? Hold on. Do we understand what was just said?
I don't think they do, Blake.
I don't think they do either. Okay, you've held teams to under 30 points more this season through 6 games than what Brian Kelly has done the whole time at LSU. And let me break that stat down. That's for P4 opponents. Strictly P4 opponents. I'm not talking about the Louisiana Techs of the world. So again, you have a defense. Look, the hope that you have is that the defense can get you to the problem is that you have an offense that you think is not gonna get you there. Thanks for the phone call, brother.
I appreciate it.
We're out of here. Hug your loved ones. Glad we got the win, but it was just awful. Should have blown them out. See y'all Monday. Peace.